Hey everybody, I'm back to doing another bird. I've got the usual supplies given to me by my friend, and this one that I got from Barnes & Noble, their clearance section years ago. I did find another brush in my house, which I'm excited to use. I've got this teeny one, I've got my handy plastic one that's flat and has a great plastic point for dragging paint around where I wanted to, and then this one. So I've done a little bit of the outline, I've gotten it wet. I'm about to get the interior wet. The outside is, if you can see the glinting, fairly wet still. I want to start with a little pink, very light, kind of pinkish color for the back of the bird, but I also want it to be pretty wet. So I'm laying in some of this color. The bird I'm doing has some white in its wings, so I'm going to try to, we'll see what happens, leave a little of this white. Once again, birds are puffy, so let yourself be a little free. I want water, but I don't want piles of water. That takes a long time to dry. It makes it so the painting is a lot harder. So I've got some of this pretty color in the back. I want to add a little bit of orange, a little bit of red. I'm gonna mix them on my brush. Just going to tap in a little color. It's darker at the back, this bird I'm doing, so I'm going to let the water move it around a little bit, but I'm going to start at the back, so that's where the highest concentration will be. And because I'm trying to leave a little bit of white line, I'm going to use this flat brush in the side. In fact, I'm going to dab off while I can a little bit white right up here and a little more white there. The tail that I'm looking at has some black and some red. A little bit of light at the top. Got a cute round belly. When my paper was originally wet, I laid in some of the features of the background so that in the end, everything would be working together. I'd have some of the same colors throughout the whole thing to bring it together so nothing feels like it's lonely and out of place. So as I work through this, I'm kind of putting some in the background too. I'm going to get a little purple. Put some of that on this belly. Tap, 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 tap. And it's still very wet. So it's moving the colors around for me. Want a little bit more red under here. I want to use this end of my brush to pull. I don't press too hard, but I press a little bit because I want to bring out some texture into the bird. And when I keep laying on color, you'll see more of it. I'm kind of lifting my brush, trying to make indicate feathers without absolutely defining things. I like watercolors to be soft. I like them to be almost like a hidden picture. Everything's defined, but it still has a little bit that's not 100% defined. I think that's, for me, really makes for paintings that I can look at for a long time. So I like that in my painting. Add just a little bit of blue. I wanted to define underneath that bird a little bit. And around my bird, we've got a little bit of blue, so I'm going to mix a little blue. I might, at this point, switch to a slightly smaller brush. Get that brush wet. I'll add a little more blue to this, so I try to make enough color at any one time so that it's going to take me to the end of where I need it to without having to remix the color. I don't think there's anything wrong with mixing the colors again, but I do think you lose. You can never get the same color twice, so. And I want this to be quite a bit more blue rather than gray. So that didn't quite work. I'm going to add a little more blue. Mix it in. Okay. The beak points toward the eye, and then this blue goes around the eye. I'm going to go around the eye right now because there's blue around it. Okay. Adding little feather textures with this color because it's a really pretty color. And when I keep layering things, this will add some nice detail. Give it some layering. All right, this point, I need to help it blend a little bit, so I'm dabbing off a little color. My brush is pretty clean right now. I just rinsed it. I'm tapping off some of the water so that I can softly pull off some of the blue and have it come on in with the pinks. If you've watched any of my videos before or my shorts, I mostly have the light source coming from somewhere around here, so unless I do something different on purpose, that's where I'm going to assume the light is, and I'm going to use that too. To guide where I put things. I'm just tapping this a little bit. So, got that going on. A little more dark here. I've got a stem going underneath, and I'm going to use some browns that I've used before. I'm going to make it a little bit gray. I'm going to drop in where this bird is sitting. So that's cute. Excellent. And a little bit darker brown. So I've been painting, doing art most of my life. I got a degree, bachelor's degree in art, and did a lot of fun things in college. With art, when I graduated from college, I started working for a graphic design company. I didn't know how to use the computer at the time because that wasn't my focus in school. I didn't know how to use Adobe Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, all of those. The Adobe products, which is what is mainly used where I've worked for a long time. So I, on the job, learned how to use the programs and went from the person who answers the phones to an illustrator and a graphic designer, and somebody else answered the phones. So it's been a pretty good ride. I've always come back to watercolor. I love watercolor. I like the watercolor lasts for a long time. I like that it's fairly inexpensive. I liked when I had a daughter, when my daughter was little, that I could get the watercolors out and put them away in a short amount of time. So then for the past few years, I've been working very hard to hone my watercolor skills. Some days I feel great about my painting and how I'm doing, and some days I feel really lousy about it. I would assume a lot of you can identify with those kinds of feelings. So I keep trying. And my daughter has an Instagram page. She makes really cool puppets, or not Instagram, a YouTube channel. And she is the one who encouraged me to start my own YouTube channel, and it's been pretty fun. And I appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate your support and your interest. And because that bled a little bit when I added the dark center to that, I'm going to leave it for a minute. So I'm going to get a little more purple. Sorry about the wiggle. So I think the purple on the bottom of this bird is just so pretty. I love birds. I think they're really cool, and they're fun to watch. So if you have questions for me as you watch, leave a comment and I'll do my best to answer them. And I just continue to lay in colors, lots of light transparent washes. I try really hard to keep colors from getting too muddy, but it can be hard, for sure. But I certainly work towards that. It's one of my goals. My big goal, is to make a lot of money selling art. So I certainly try. My work is in a couple of local galleries where I live, and it's online in a lot of places. So we'll see. I try not to think about it too hard, but do my best to make what I want to have happen come true. Right now I need some darks. Okay. I like to make darks in this section over here. I do not like to use pure black because I think it's more interesting to make your own blacks out of orange and blue and brown. And once I get a nice dark color, then I'll add a little black. But I like dark colors that have a lot more story to tell than just straight black, and that's just my thing. You can see how I'm really mixing that till it's all mixed together. All right, so now I'm going to go in and I'm going to add some darker features with my new dark color. And you can start with somewhere that you want the most darkness and then move up, because it'll start to get lighter naturally as you run out of ink on your paper. So that's a good way to do it, I think. See, now I've not got much pigment, so these little feathers show up. think birds' feet are the trickiest. Oops. I do like to go for a less is more approach for adding texture to things, because I think getting a lot of texture ends up making things look really strange. At least that's in my book. When I try to do that, I'm sure other people are really fabulous at adding lots and lots of details all over. But for me, I like to think less is more being the key. Letting the imagination fill in the gaps. Well, I hope you like what you've seen today and you found something useful. Good luck in your paintings. Good luck in your attempts. Good luck to me, my attempts. There we go. There's a little bird.